quarantine? Maybe you can start filing your income tax returns now. The Income Tax Department had in the last week of May notified the ITR forms for assessment year 2021. Though the last date for filing these returns has been pushed to November 30, it'd be wise for you to begin the groundwork now to avoid the 11th hour rush. This is because the new forms notified require a whole lot of additional disclosures to be made. The ITR forms 1 and 4 were already notified in the month of January 2020 with numerous tweaks. However, the government has hardly retained any of the changes made in the new forms notified in May again. In this video, we'd like to highlight a few important changes that you must take note of in the ITR forms notified for assessment year 2021. Under the Chapter 6A of Income Tax Act, you can claim certain investments and expenditure as deductions from your total income. Examples for these tax-saving investments would be units of mutual funds of equity-linked savings schemes, ULIPs, National Pension Scheme, Public Provident Fund, etc. Expenses on premiums of life and medical insurance and on interest on loans taken for higher education also form part of these deductions. The last date for making these investments and for incurring the expenditures for FY20 was 31st March 2020. Due to the lockdown, this date was extended to 30th June. The said extension also applies to donations which can be claimed as a deduction under Section 80G. A recent example for this would be donations made to the PM CARES Fund. Also, investments in properties and in notified bonds of REC, NHA, IPFC, etc. can be claimed as deductions for certain long-term capital gains by virtue of Section 54 to 54GB of the IT Act. Even these investments can be made up until 30th June of this year. The newly notified forms require specific disclosures with respect to investments made in this additional window. That is, for investments made after April 1 to June 30th, you will have to disclose them separately in a new schedule, Schedule DI, in the new notified forms. If in the financial year 2020 you entered into certain specified transactions, then you're required to file your income tax return even if your total income does not exceed the basic exemption limit. The specified transactions are if you've deposited more than 1 crore in one or more current accounts, either singly or in aggregate, or have spent more than 2 lakhs on foreign travel or more than 1 lakh on your electricity bills. In the newly notified ITR forms, you will have to mention the exact amount spent on each of the front in separate columns inserted. Aside from the new schedules and columns inserted, even the existing schedules on pass-through income, deductions under Chapter 6A, on computation of surcharge also have undergone minor tweaks to make place for the recent amendments. Earlier, you could only choose one account for the purposes of income tax refund. Now, with the new forms, you can choose multiple accounts for the same. The new forms now allow the interchangeability of Aadhaar number with PAN. In the forms, in some places you require to mention the PAN number of another party such as of a tenant or of an auditor. In those cases, you can now mention their Aadhaar number in lieu of their PAN.